Yeah, good day, Lana. You are welcome back to this new session, Season 6. And the Season 6 is controlling. But before moving on to this topic, which is controlling, I would like to go back to what we did in our last session. That is directing. It was then we explained to ourselves what a directing is. And at that moment, I said directing refers to activating this with steps a manager takes to get subordinates and others to carry out plans. And it's just the way by which you ask your people to do work for you. And under this directing, we have some three basic elements. And the basic elements are motivation, leadership, and communication. And I remember again that I told you what motivation is all about. And we went further to talk about the characteristics of motivations. It was then I said motivation is an internal feelings, and motivation is also a psychological phenomenon that generates in the minds of an individual. And motivation also related to needs. And from then we also went further to talk about leadership. It was then I said leadership is defined as influence, the art or process of influencing people so that they will strive willingly, and they will strive willingly towards the achievement of groups' goals. And we also explained to ourselves the importance of leadership that is to authority, motive, power to groups' effort, basis for cooperation, and so on and so forth. We also talk about leadership styles. That we have told you we have autocratic, we have democratic, we have laissez-faire, laissez-faire. And we also went to discuss about communication. As I said, today we'll be talking about controlling. And when you are talking about controlling, what is controlling? What is controlling? Control is the process. Control itself is the process through which managers assure that actual activities conform to planned activities. It is believed that the planned activities has been done. If you can recall, we explained to ourselves what planning is all about. And I told you that planning is the art of the management. And that I remember again, I told you that he who fail to plan is actually planning to fail. The plan is already on ground, and you under that plan you've already made up your mind of what you want to achieve. So controlling now, or the actual control, is the process to which the manager or the senior ones assure that the actual activities, that is what you actually do, is in line with the plan's activities. And having done that, we quickly look at control process. And looking at the control process they involve these stages and these steps. We have establishment of standards. We have establishment of standard. From establishment of standards to measurements of performance, measurement of performance to comparison of performance against standard, and we also have what we call corrective actions. And talking about establishment of standard, that is that what we refer to as by that is that the plans are the yardsticks against which a control must be revised, against which must be revised, against which must be followed logically, so that the first steps in the control process will be accomplished, will be to accomplish the plans. And take for instance, we have different types of different examples for the standards, like profitability standards, market position, productivity standard, product leadership, employee attitude, social responsibility standard, standard reflecting relative balance between the short and long range goals. All these are the examples of for the standards. You must first establish your standard. That's the first process and control. The second one after the establishment of standard is measurements of performance. Here the measurement of performance, the measurement of performance against standard should be on a forward-looking basis so that deviation may be detected in advance by appropriate actions. And as I said, you just have to measure your performance, and the degree of difficulties in measuring various types of organizational performance, of course, is actually determined primarily by the activities being measured, and also comparisons of performance against standard. You still have to compare that, and that is when managers have taken a measure of organizational performance. Then the next step is controlling, and controlling is for you to compare those measurements against some standards. There's some standards, some levels of accessibility have been utterly established to serve the model for evaluating organization and performance. So the performance, as I said, will actually be evaluated based on a whole or some individual working within the organizations. And having done that, you also talk about taking corrective actions. Talking about taking corrective actions, what does that one supposed to mean? That after the performance has actually been measured, compared with established performance standard, then you cannot do what you cannot take corrective action. Meaning that is when you find out that some mistakes have been utterly made. You find a way of making sure that those things are corrected. So that, because the essence of you being a business is for you to grow, is for profit maximization and some other things. And if the goals and objective is not achieved, that means there is a problem somewhere. You have to look at your performance, what you have been doing against what you thought you were supposed to have done. So you compare it, and when there's a problem, you take a corrective action so that people to do, you're able to correct your mistakes, so that you're able to correct your mistakes. And having done that, we quickly move on to barriers to the barriers to controlling that you want to control. Then what are the problems? What are the challenges that might actually be associated with this? One, controls activity can actually create an undesirable overemphasis on short-term production as opposed to long-term production. And because you are controlling, and if peradventure somebody does not perform in the short run, it does not mean that in the long run that person cannot perform. So that's a problem there. You just have to find a way of managing that problems. And aside that, control activities can increase employee frustrations with their jobs and thereby reduce morale. So control activity can encourage the falsification of report. Yes, when you are controlling and you see how to report to the superior officer that is older, that are higher than you, even if those things that you discover is not good enough, you can falsify it so that they'll be able to believe that you are working. So, and that is a problem, and it's everywhere. It's everywhere. So, but all those things need to be corrected. And also the control activity can be perceived as the goal or the control process rather than how corrective action is taken. So then, having done that, we also look at we also look at requirement for effective control. What are those things that the control is needed before you can say it is effective? One, control should be tailored to plans and positions. Control should be tailored to plans and position. That's one of the requirements. Another requirement is that controls should point up exceptions as critical points. Aside that, control should be objective. It should be objective. The subjectivity should not be there. When you want to control, you control based on what is on ground, not that, oh, this is my sister, this is my brother, or so you avoid nepotism, tribalism, favorism, and fatherism, or whatever, even if you like call it modernism. All those things must be avoided, and control should be flexible. You should not be rigid always. When you control in harsh way, you can still do what you can still find a way of reconciling within 2 or 3, so that you're able to see that the work actually goes on as expected. Control should be economical. Control should be economical. And when you say control should be economical, what we are saying is that the control must work their costs. Yeah, the cost of control must not higher. The control of control must not higher than what you are expected to gain. So you must make sure that it is economical. And aside that, the control should lead to corrective actions. And when you say corrective action, what does that one supposed to mean? This is because a control system will be of little benefit if it does not lead to corrective action. Control is justified only if and only if, I mean, if the indicated or experienced deviation from the plans are actually corrected through appropriate planning, organizing, directing, and leading. Once this is done, then you'll be able to see that you'll be able to see that the control will be effective. Having done this, we also talk about types of control. We also talk about types of control. Talking about types of control, we have 3 basic types. We have feed forward control, and talking about feed forward control, they are preventive control that try to anticipate problems and take corrective actions before they occur. Feed forward. So it's anticipation, and when you say anticipation, you are thinking that there are likely to be problems, and you are now finding a way of solving that anticipated problem before it occurs. So you are thinking there are likely to be decrease in the sales, and you have been looking at it. You are trying to find a way of controlling it even before it happens. That is feed forward control. We also have what we call concurrent controls, and the concurrent control, they are sometimes called screening control, and this actually occur while an activities is taking place. And for instance, the team leader check the quality or performance of his member while they are performing. Also, we have feedback control, and feedback control, they measure activities that are already being completed. So the activity have been completed, and you now measure it and see whether you've done well or not. And having done that, we also look at characteristics of controls. We talk about characteristics. What are the features of control? 1, control is a continuous process. 2, control is a management process. 3, control embedded in each level of organizational hierarchy. Control is a forward-looking. Control is also close link with planning. I told you that planning is the way by which you try to forecast that this is what you want to achieve, and these are the ways, these are the strategies that we want to use to achieve those things. You will be able to see that the way and manner to way you are controlling your subordinates must actually link with what you have already planned. And mind you, in your planning, you've already stated your aims and objective, where you are going, and you must do your control must be in line with where you are going. Also, control is a tool for achieving organizational performance, because you must be able to see that at a particular point in time the organization are there. You have to find a way by which the organizational tools are being achieved. Also, you also talk about actual performance. You talk about measurement of performance. You talk about comparison of actuals and standard performance, and identification of deviations. Also, analysis of cost of deviation, and we also have corrective action plans, implementation of correction, and desired performance. All these are the characteristics of control. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where we are going to draw the curtain for this session 6, and I believe at the end of this lesson you are able to know the different type of control systems that we have, and the characteristics of control, and what control can lead an organization to achieve. Thank you for listening.